My name is Aisha. I'm 36 years old. I live with my husband, Malik, in a small apartment just outside Denver. We chose a simple life, no kids, no chaos, no drama. Some call it selfish, but I call it freedom. Growing up, my family was a storm of noise and tension. My mom, dad, two older brothers, and a crowd of cousins made every day loud. My oldest brother, Jamal, 42, always has big plans but never follows through. My other brother, Khalil, 39, is buried under the weight of two kids and a wife who loves clubs more than home. I keep my distance, but my mom, a warm but pushy woman, always tries to pull me back. Family sticks together, Aisha, she says, especially around holidays. This time, it was a summer cookout at my parents' house on a Saturday. I wanted to skip it, like always. But Mom called at 6:30 a.m., her voice bright but firm. "You have to come, Aisha, everyone's expecting you." I sighed. Malik, stirring his coffee at the kitchen table, gave me a small nod. He'd go if I went. To avoid another guilt trip, we agreed to stop by for an hour. When we pulled up, I regretted it instantly. The backyard was a zoo, 30 people, kids screaming, adults shouting over music. The air smelled of grilled meat and spilled beer in the sticky July heat. Jamal and Khalil were there, each with a drink, laughing too loud at a bad joke. Kids ran wild, throwing chips and splashing soda. "Aisha, you showed up," Jamal yelled, stumbling over. "What, no big lawyer meeting today?" He grinned, but his words stung. I forced a smile and tugged Malik toward my dad. Dad sat alone by the grill, sipping water, looking like he wanted to vanish. "You came," he said quietly, handing me a soda from the cooler. We made small talk with some neighbors, but it felt forced. Relatives kept asking, "When are you and Malik having kids?" I checked my watch, counting the minutes until we could leave. Then things went downhill. Khalil's two boys and Jamal's daughter, ages 8 to 11, started a game. They called it push and charged at people near the pool. They ran at a guest first, a tall woman in a sundress. She slipped but caught the fence, only getting her shoes wet. Her face was tight with anger as she grabbed her bag and left. No one said anything. Then the kids turned to me. I saw them coming and stepped aside. They tripped over each other and splashed into the pool. Malik laughed, and a few others did too. But Jamal shouted, "Aisha, why didn't you grab them? They could have gotten hurt." I stood there, stunned. No one cared that I'd avoided being pushed in. No one asked why the kids were running loose. All I got were glares and accusations. I wanted to scream. Instead, Malik and I left early. Driving home, I gripped the steering wheel until my hands ached. Malik stayed quiet, but I knew he felt it too. This family fun was a lie, just a mix of blame and bitterness. I've worked hard to build a different life. After getting my law degree, I landed a job at a top firm in Denver. At 30, I bought my first apartment. 2 years later, I met Malik, a calm, steady architect who gets me. We married but didn't rush into kids or share our plans with family. That's how we kept our peace. But my brothers always had something to say. Jamal and Khalil, both struggling with their own lives, never said it outright. But their comments cut deep. "Must be nice to travel the world," Khalil would mutter when I mentioned a work trip. "Only people without kids live like that," Jamal added once, half smirking. I'd nod, but their words carried envy. They saw my life as something they'd lost. 3 years ago, I bought a small cabin in Breckenridge. It sat in a quiet forest with a view of snow-capped mountains. It was my sanctuary. But I knew my family would cause trouble if it was in my name. So, I put it under my parents' names as a retirement gift. I paid for everything, the mortgage, taxes, upkeep. At first, it worked. My parents visited rarely and kept it low-key. Then I saw a stranger's post online. A photo of my cabin with the caption, "Perfect Airbnb getaway." Hosted by Jamal. I blinked, reading it again. Not only were they using my cabin, but they were renting it out. I didn't react right away. I needed proof. For weeks, I checked reviews and had a friend book a stay. Sure enough, it was listed under Jamal's name. Over 25 reviews, charging $400 a night. At 2 weekends a month, he was making at least $4. On a place I paid for. Khalil wasn't clean either. Once, Malik and I stopped by to check the cabin's pipes before winter. A random family was there, barbecuing. Khalil said we could use it, a woman said casually. I smiled, said nothing, and left. But I got it. They thought it was theirs because it was under mom and dad's names. They turned my retreat into their side hustle. I used to think staying quiet would keep things calm. But silence let them walk all over me. It wasn't kindness anymore, it was weakness. So, I made a plan. No more hiding. No more letting them take what's mine. 5 days after the cookout, my phone lit up with texts. Jamal, you're so selfish. Aisha, acting like you're above us. Khalil, we're drowning with kids. And you're out here living fancy. Their wives joined in. Khalil's wife, Tanya, texted, that cabin should be for family, not just you. Jamal's girlfriend, Renee, added, if I'd known you'd be like this, I wouldn't have left that gate open. Was that a threat? I blocked them all. Malik turned my phone to silent and hugged me. I thought that was it. But Tuesday morning, Mom called, her voice shaky. Aisha, we need a family meeting. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. no kids. Please come. I wanted to say no. But for Mom, and for me, I agreed. I needed to end this. The meeting was at my parents' house. The living room, once full of warm memories, felt like a courtroom. Jamal and Khalil sat on one couch, faces hard. Their partners, Tanya and Renee, barely looked at me. Mom started, her voice soft. We've had some issues, let's talk, no fighting, just honesty. I didn't wait. I know you've been renting out the Breckenridge cabin, I said. I have proof. As of today, no one uses it without my say. Khalil jumped up. I didn't make money, I just let friends stay. Enough, Jamal snapped, but not at Khalil. He looked at Mom. I listed it on Airbnb. Okay, but it was to cover the kids' school fees. That cabin's in Mom and Dad's names, not Aisha's. I stared at him. You know I pay the mortgage, taxes, everything, I said. Mom and Dad hold the title to avoid drama, but I can transfer it to my name tomorrow if I need to. The room went quiet. Tanya muttered, so you bought a cabin to flex? That's low. I ignored her. Dad, who'd been silent, finally spoke. Enough, he said, his voice firm. Aisha bought that cabin. Your mom and I just hold the title. No one goes there unless she says so. Jamal sighed, like he'd given up. Fine, but help us out. School fees are killing us. You've got money, no kids. I laughed, sharp and cold. You want me to pay for your kids because I don't have any? Because I work hard? Khalil leaned forward. It's not a lot, just family helping family. Family doesn't mean taking advantage, I said. I don't owe you anything. Malik touched my arm, a signal to go. As we walked out, Mom called, Aisha. I paused but didn't turn. I love you, Mom, but I'm done being used. We left. I knew they wouldn't let go easily. People who feed off others don't stop. 2 weeks later, I thought things had settled. No more texts, no calls from mom. But I was wrong. That Friday, Malik and I were at a friend's dinner when my phone buzzed. A text from Marcus, the property manager I hired for the cabin. They got in. Before I could respond, he called. Motion sensors caught 2 guys cutting the gate lock, he said. They broke the back door. I saw them on camera. It's Jamal and Khalil. Police are coming. I froze, my heart pounding. Malik took the phone, talking to Marcus as I stood there, shaking. Not from fear, from fury. We left the dinner and drove home in silence. I couldn't speak. I tried to stay out of their mess, but they pulled me back in. The next morning, the sheriff's office called. Jamal and Khalil were caught trying to disable the cabin's cameras. They faced charges: trespassing, property damage, and intimidation. They claimed they were getting family stuff. I asked for the footage. Marcus sent it. Jamal cut the gate's chain with bolt cutters. Khalil kicked the back door until it broke. In the video, Khalil looked at the camera and smirked. This wasn't a mistake. They planned it. That afternoon, Mom called. Aisha, the boys messed up, but they didn't mean it, she said. They think you're being too hard. Too hard? I repeated, my voice tight. They broke into my cabin. Mom, they cut the gate, smashed the door, and tried to kill the cameras. I know, she said, her voice breaking. But if you press charges, they could lose their jobs. Khalil's in construction. A record could ruin him. I gripped the phone so hard my hand hurt. Malik watched me, his eyes worried. They crossed every line, I said. This isn't just family drama. They broke the law, and you want me to let it go? She went quiet. I've dealt with their nonsense my whole life, I said. Not anymore. If you side with them, I can't keep you in my life. I hung up. That night, I emailed my lawyer, Sandra. I asked her to handle all communication with the police and the DA. I also requested a restraining order against Jamal and Khalil. I didn't know how far the case would go, but I wasn't backing down. No more nice Aisha. They'd broken more than a lock, they'd broken my patience. After the break-in, something in me shattered. Not the cabin. I could fix a gate, replace a door, upgrade security. What broke was my trust. It wasn't the first time my family hurt me. But this time, I was done. Malik was tired too. That night, as I read the police report, he sat next to me. His voice was low, heavy. Aisha, I know you love your parents, but this is too much, he said. If you want to cut them off, I'm with you. I don't want you hurting anymore. I didn't answer, but I knew he was right. He used to smile when I shared stories about my brothers. He used to say, maybe they'll come around. Not anymore. He was done carrying their weight, and so was I. The next day, I called Marcus. He'd handled basic maintenance before. Now, I signed him for full security, new cameras, smart locks, a stronger gate, 24/7 monitoring. Marcus, a retired cop who lives nearby, was all in. I'll treat this place like my own, he said. I trusted him. I haven't been back to Breckenridge since. Marcus sends weekly photos, snow on the porch, trees in the wind. The cabin is still beautiful, but it's not mine anymore. When I think of it, I hear metal snapping, see Jamal's smirk. My brothers kept trying to reach me. I blocked their numbers, emails, everything. But they used fake accounts, even mailed letters to Sandra's office. One came from Khalil, his handwriting messy. He begged me to drop the charges, said they acted out of anger. The last line made me sick, don't ruin our kids' lives. I locked the letter in a drawer and didn't respond. That night, I pulled up a real estate site. I typed, Breckenridge cabin for sale. 3 bedrooms, mountain view, price negotiable. Malik stood behind me. You sure? He asked. I nodded. It's not a home anymore. It's a reminder of what they did. I need to let it go. Selling it wasn't about money. It was about control. Showing them they couldn't take from me anymore. One Tuesday, during a meeting at work, a courier dropped off an envelope. Inside was a check for $6 and a note signed by Jamal and Khalil. They admitted to breaking in, apologized, and asked me to drop the charges. They said it would save their jobs and families. They promised to stay away and sign any agreement. I stared at the check. It didn't fix the damage, but it was a start. That night, I showed it to Sandra. She read the note and leaned back. Aisha, we can go to court. And I'll fight for you, she said. But it'll take months, maybe years. It'll drain you. Think about what you want. I was exhausted. Not just from this, but from years of their games. I wanted it over. But I needed them to know this was their last chance. 2 days later, Sandra drafted a settlement. Jamal and Khalil would pay for all repairs, add $3 for my trouble, cover my legal fees, and sign a no-contact order. If they broke it, I could reopen the case. We don't need their tears, Sandra said. We need them scared of the law. They signed at Sandra's office. I wasn't there, but she said Jamal tried to lower the $3. Sandra showed him the video of them breaking in. He shut up and signed. I got copies of the agreement and checks, $3 and $4 for fees. I didn't feel happy. But I felt strong. I'd taken back my life, not with fights, but with rules. That night, Malik opened a bottle of red wine. To us, he said, raising his glass. I smiled, lighter than I'd felt in months. Not done yet, I said. But this is the start of a life without them. I knew I'd never be close to my brothers again. And that was okay. It wasn't loss, it was freedom. A week later, a package arrived at my door. No sender, just Mom's handwriting. Aisha, read if you want. I left it on the table for 2 days. Part of me hoped they'd finally gotten it. But part of me didn't trust it. On a quiet Sunday, I opened it with a cup of tea. It was a letter from Khalil. No excuses, just truth. He said they saw me as an outsider because I chose my own path. You built a life I was too scared to try for, he wrote. I read it twice, then put it away. I didn't reply. His honesty meant something, but it didn't change my choice. Forgiveness doesn't mean letting them back in. Malik and I started focusing on us. We took a trip to Utah, driving through deserts with no service, no interruptions. I started painting again, something I dropped years ago. Small canvases, bright colors, no rules. I even wrote a blog post about setting boundaries with family. Maybe I'll publish it one day. I kept the cabin, but I don't go often. Marcus sends updates, ice on the roof, deer in the yard. It's mine again, but it's different now. A place to heal, not hide. Mom calls sometimes. We talk about little things, her new yoga class, Dad's fishing trips. She doesn't bring up Jamal or Khalil. I appreciate that. Once, she said, "You sound happy, Aisha, I can hear it." I smiled. I had to learn the hard way. Mom, but I'm choosing me now. That was the lesson. Family doesn't mean you owe them everything. Love isn't a debt. It's respect. I don't need a big family to feel whole. I need Malik, my quiet home, and the strength to say no. I'm still the youngest. But I'm not the one who bends anymore.